After my MBA, a lot of my friends were getting into marketing, brand marketing, advertising. Therefore, in that sense, I also got influenced most probably, and I joined a reputed multinational advertising firm. You know, I started working with them as a trainee, management training, and then I evolved and learn a lot of, you know, actual advertising practices over there. Though like even in my management degree, there was an element of brand marketing, or let's say marketing communication, advertising. I suppose the actual, in actual sense, in terms of ground realities, came to me when I started working in that firm, and I suppose that gave me a base to start my journey in this profession. Of course, there were confusion in between as well, but then now I've been working in this industry for almost 23 years. In that sense, it has evolved too much, I would say. When I started my career, it was largely we used to work on the campaign ideas. We were heavily focused on static media, and then maybe it evolves to audiovisual media. And when it comes to now, I think it is largely become idea driven than anything else. The medium is becoming more and more irrelevant, and idea is becoming more and more relevant. That's how it has evolved. In simple term, I feel that brand is more than a product. Brand is a proposition, right, which consists of values, stories, and experiences, right? Now, when you think of very successful brands like Nike, or even some other brands like Dope or Samsung, or even for that matter Mountain Dew, even though they operate in certain categories, right? Like for example, Nike operate in maybe athletic shoe category, Dope operate in personal care most probably, Mountain Dew operates in edited drinks, Samsung is all about smartphones and other consumer durables. But if you really think deep, they give you certain kind of thoughts, right? Thematic thoughts. It is like as soon as we talk about Dope, even though it is about personal care, their definitions of beautiful women is different, right? And we come to know about that. As soon as we think of Nike as well, there are a lot of athletic shoes, but then we perceive that brand differently altogether, for the messaging they do, for the kind of story they tell, or for the kind of athlete they get associated with, therefore it is the whole package. Therefore, I feel that it's a proposition, it's more than a product. Yes, in my journey of 23 years, we've done many campaigns, right? Both commercials and non-commercial, social sector campaigns as well. Particularly, I love some of the work that I did with regard to development sector or social sector works. Like we did a lot of work on behavior change communication. Therefore, there are few of them. I would not stick to one. There was one that we did on child labor, domestic child labor, when we just started outreach. It was a work we did with ILO. Similarly, there was a recent work like maybe 4 or 5 years back. There we did a campaign on smart family planning, which is again the behavior change campaign, where we talked about like family planning in a very interesting way. That was another work that was really we really feel proud of. And there was another work that we did for Bolio, Nepal, which is on the child nutrition. We are very proud of the work that we did there as well. I suppose it will sound a little cliche when I tell you this, but then that's a fact. AI and machine learning, artificial intelligence and machine learning is disrupting not just advertising, brand marketing, but all the businesses, right? When it comes to advertising and marketing, it will help us in terms of understanding the consumer better, consumer behaviors better. It will help us to analyze the huge amount of data, and then get and then find the exact consumer insights or kind of consumer behavior patterns. Like that will help us to plan our campaign in a more effective way. Therefore that cannot be ignored altogether. And not only in terms of it will help us in terms of providing us the insights, but also will help us to kind of build the messaging around it, to kind of influence the behavior or the minds of the people. And even in outreach, like very soon you will come to know this, that we are doing some revamping and restructuring to kind of like bring in business processes and thinking that will prioritize idea first than anything else. And of course along with the idea we also want to be open to tech based ideas, because in today's context I cannot just say that advertising is all about certain mediums that we've been using in the past. There can be a lot of technology solutions as well that we can go to the client with that idea which can fulfill the business objective. Therefore in that context we are bringing in that capacity and enabling our team in terms of changing their mindset towards that, also kind of recruiting younger minds who are more open to tech solutions, and then also kind of build that infrastructures and workshops or training that will help them to kind of navigate through this journey. I think if you focus on the business objective of a client, and try to work towards that, they will appreciate the effort that we are putting in. Beyond that, there are other things like we believe in complete transparency in all our work, and we have brought in structures and processes within the system, within our infrastructures as well, where this is feasible now, and this has been made possible through many years of working, therefore that is there. Open mindedness, clear communications, and then work with the client for their business objective, and doesn't mean that all the time when we work on certain activities we are able to fulfill it, but then learn from that, and then amend, and kind of customize the requirements as we move ahead, to bring in that changes. Sometime even in the campaign we do mid course corrections, because we have one objective in mind, we go with full thought in that thought process, but eventually we see that it is not leading us somewhere. Then in that context also, you go and talk openly with the client that this is not working out and how we can improve from here. Yeah, this is that this is quite an achievement for my team, more than me. Though people see me as in the forefront, it is the team that does the work for which we get all these recognitions. It helps to actually build their confidence, motivate them, and then of course pushes them further, to do better works in the upcoming campaigns, upcoming days, but then it also somehow validate the work we are doing in Nepal to a certain extent. It validates a thought that what we are doing in Nepal is at par with what the global or other markets are doing, and that I feel is the most proud moment. A culture of deep thinking. Our market has been largely very activity driven. I would say largely tactical works. We've been doing, like, I would say 90% of the work that we see in a brand communication in this market is tactical. I know that is important, but then there has to be long-term vision as well. Therefore, there has to be a thematic thought process in terms of what your brand stands for. First of all, you have to understand what does your brand stands for, and on the basis of that you build onto it. And it is not an easy process, it is a long term process. Therefore the culture of deep thinking, is very much required, not just among the agencies but also among the clients, the marketeers. If we have to succeed, and if we have to benchmark ourselves to what the forget about the world, even the regional work that is happening in Asia, I think that will be the key. And for that, like I said in the beginning, our approach should be idea driven, not activity driven. Therefore idea has to be in central of anything that we do.
So thank you so much for your time. That's our 7th question to a marketer.
Thank you
Have a good day.
for making me part of this journey.
Thank you so much for your time.